Imagine landing in a foreign country after a long flight. You hand over your passport to an immigration officer. He looks at it once, then twice. Within minutes, more officers arrive, not because you're a criminal, not because you're carrying something illegal, but because, according to your passport, you're from a country that doesn't exist. And the strangest part? You have absolutely no idea why everyone is staring at you. This is the mystery of the man from Taured. The story supposedly begins in 1954 at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. A well-dressed businessman stepped off an international flight like any ordinary traveler. He looked calm, confident, and professional. Nothing about him seemed unusual until immigration officers opened his passport. The nationality listed wasn't Japan, it wasn't America, it wasn't France, it was Taured, a country nobody had ever heard of. At first, officials assumed it was a fake passport, but the more they investigated, the stranger the situation became. The passport looked authentic. Every page appeared genuine. It contained realistic stamps from multiple countries. The traveler also carried business documents and identification papers that seemed completely legitimate. Everything made sense, except for one impossible detail. Taured did not exist. Not on any map, not in any government records, nowhere. When questioned, the traveler seemed genuinely confused. According to him, Taured was a real country located between France and Spain. Officials brought out a map and asked him to point to it. Without hesitation, he placed his finger on a small region between the two countries. But there was a problem. The place he pointed to was Andorra. The traveler stared at the map in disbelief. According to him, Andorra shouldn't have been there at all. He insisted the region had always belonged to Taured, and that the nation had existed for more than 1,000 years. At this point, nobody knew who was more confused, the officers or the traveler. The mystery quickly deepened. Investigators examined his documents, travel records, and passport stamps. Everything appeared consistent. The man answered every question calmly. He never changed his story. He wasn't acting nervous. In fact, he seemed completely convinced that Taured was a real country and that everyone else was mistaken. Then, something happened that transformed a strange story into one of the internet's most famous mysteries. According to the legend, authorities placed the traveler in a hotel room while they continued their investigation. Some versions of the story claim guards were stationed outside to ensure he couldn't leave. The next morning, officials returned. The room was empty. The traveler was gone. No signs of escape, no witnesses, no explanation. One day, he existed. The next day, he didn't, and according to the legend, he was never seen again. Over the years, countless theories emerged. Some people believe the traveler came from a parallel universe, a world almost identical to ours, a reality where Andorra never existed and Taured stood in its place. Others believe the entire story is simply an urban legend that became more mysterious with every retelling. But here's what makes this story so fascinating. Whether it's true or not, people still can't stop talking about it decades later, because if even a tiny part of this story is real, it raises a chilling question. What if there are other realities beyond our own? And what if, just once, someone accidentally crossed between them? Maybe the greatest mysteries aren't the ones we solve. Maybe they're the ones that leave us wondering, what if